नमस्कार दोस्तों। विजयदशमी की दशहरे की आप सबको हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। हम कलमकारी मंच का बहुत आभार व्यक्त करते हैं कि उन्होंने हमें अच्छे अच्छे लोगों से मिलवाने का और बात करने का उनसे मौका दिया, और नवरात्र का ये शुभ पर्व बहुत अच्छे तरीके से समापन की ओर अपने बढ़ रहा है। तो जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि नवरात्र में देवी माँ की, माँ दुर्गा की उपासना की जाती है। देवी माँ जो है दोस्तों, वो नारी शक्ति का इस दुनिया में सबसे बड़ा प्रतीक है। और इसलिए अगर नारी का सम्मान ना हो, उन्हें आदर ना मिले, उन्हें उनकी जो जगह है वो पहचान ना मिले, नाम ना मिले, तो मुझे लगता है कि नवरात्र का ये पर्व अधूरा रह जाता है। और इसी बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए, इसी उद्देश्य को ध्यान में रखते हुए मनीष धारीवाल जी कलमकारी मंच के इस माध्यम से उन्होंने ये एक बहुत अच्छी पहल की, और वो प्रतिदिन शाम 5:30 बजे हमारी मुलाकात होती है एक महिला से, एक स्त्री से, जो साहित्य के जगत से जुड़ी हैं, जिन्होंने अपना नाम किया है, अपनी एक अलग पहचान बनाई है, और साहित्य के क्षेत्र में एक सशक्त हस्ताक्षर है। तो उसी श्रृंखला में आज हमारे साथ हैं जानी मानी इंडियन मैथोलॉजी की राइटर कविता काने जी। मैं उनका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूँ, स्वागत करता हूँ, और मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि वो आज इस मंच पर हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। नमस्कार कविता जी, मैं आपका स्वागत करता हूँ।
नमस्ते और धन्यवाद एंड हैप्पी दशहरा।
थैंक यू सो मच। मैं जानता हूँ कि हम थोड़ी आप इंग्लिश में लिखती हैं, और हम आपकी किताबों के बारे में अंग्रेजी में भी बात करेंगे, तो विल बी टॉकिंग अ लॉट इन इंग्लिश आल्सो। सो बट बिफोर दैट थोड़ा सा आपका इंट्रोडक्शन अपने व्यूअर्स को देना चाहता हूँ, जो लोग आपसे मिल रहे हैं। मैं तो इस मंच पर कई दिनों से देवी दुर्गा के बारे में, उनके रोज एक नए स्वरूप पर चर्चा कर रहा हूँ। थोड़ा सा अपना परिचय भी दे देता हूँ, और फिर सारी बात आपके बारे में होगी और आपकी किताबों के बारे में होगी। तो मैं अपना थोड़ा सा संक्षिप्त परिचय दूंगा। मेरा नाम है आशुतोष गर्ग। मैं भी मैथोलॉजी में ही काम करता हूँ, उसी एरिया में काम करता हूँ। पौराणिक साहित्य में मैंने काफ़ी किताबों पर काम किया है। मैं हिंदी और अंग्रेजी दोनों ही भाषाओं में लिखता हूँ, और विशेष तौर पर मैं इंग्लिश से हिंदी में ट्रांसलेशंस भी करता हूँ। तो मेरी करीब 30 किताबें जो हैं वो पब्लिश्ड हैं, जिसमें से 20-22 करीब ट्रांसलेशंस हैं, और मेरे कुछ अपने भी किताबें हैं। और 2 जो मेरे उपन्यास हैं वो माइथोलॉजी पर ही हैं, एक अश्वत्थामा पर है और एक इंद्र पर। तो मुझे इसलिए बहुत खुशी है कि मुझे 2 कारणों से बहुत खुशी है कि कविता मैम से आज मुझे बात करने का मौका मिला। उसके 2 मुख्य कारण ये हैं कि एक तो हम दोनों का काम करने का क्षेत्र जो है वो, आवर एरिया ऑफ वर्किंग इज कॉमन। वी बोथ वर्क इन इंडियन मिथोलॉजी, वी बोथ राइट इन दैट एरिया। एंड अनदर इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट एंड अनदर मैटर ऑफ प्लेजर इज दैट मुझे कविता जी की एक किताब को अनुवाद करने का मौका मिला, उसे translate करने का मौका मिला। मैं आपको उनकी ये किताब दिखाना चाहता हूँ। ये उनकी किताब है लंकाज प्रिंसेस। आप शायद देख पा रहे होंगे। बहुत ही शानदार किताब। रावण की बहन शूर्पणखा के चरित्र पर, उसके कैरेक्टर पर ये आधारित किताब है, और ये उसका हिंदी अनुवाद जो मैंने किया था, लंका की राजकुमारी के नाम से ये प्रकाशित हुआ। मंजुल पब्लिशिंग हाउस से ये छपा है। तो कविता जी को एक बार बहुत बहुत बधाई, और इसलिए इन 2 का मुझे आज बहुत प्रसन्नता है कि वो हमारे बीच हैं, और हमसे बात करने के लिए उन्होंने समय निकाला। तो मैं इसके साथ थोड़ा सा इंट्रोडक्शन कविता जी का देना चाहता हूँ। कविता जी जो है वो पत्रकारिता के क्षेत्र से आती हैं। शी इज अ सीनियर जर्नलिस्ट, एंड इनफैक्ट शी हैज बीन अ फॉर्मल जर्नलिस्ट, because she has been into this field of journalism for I think over 20 years. And first she was working as assistant editor with the Times of India. कविता मैम, अगर इन मुझसे कहीं गलती हो जाए तो आप काइंडली मुझे करेक्ट कर दें।
नहीं नहीं, आई थिंक यू हैव
जी।
बीन करेक्ट राइट टिल नाउ।
थैंक यू सो मच। और उसके अलावा, बट आफ्टर दैट शी शी क्विट द जॉब, एंड quitting that area of journalism, she has taken up the profession of a full-time writer, and now she is the author of 6 best-selling books. सबकी सब सारी की जितनी भी किताबें हैं उनकी सब इंडियन मिथोलॉजी पर बेस्ड है, और वो सब फीमेल कैरेक्टर्स पर बेस्ड हैं. ये एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग बात है जो कम देखने को मिलता है. और एक और चीज मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि कविता जी की जितनी भी किताबें हैं वो सब आप कह सकते हैं कि माइनर कैरेक्टर्स पर बेस्ड है. जो मिथोलॉजी की जो माइनर कैरेक्टर्स हैं, फीमेल कैरेक्टर्स, जैसे कि मैं आपको इनकी कुछ किताबों के नाम अगर बताऊं तो वो है कर्णाज वाइफ, सीताज सिस्टर, लंकाज प्रिंसेस जो मैंने भी आपको दिखाई. इसके अलावा शी हैज रिटन ऑन अहिल्याज अवेकनिंग. I'm sorry, there was some network issue. Is it okay, ma'am? Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was telling about her books. She has written on Karna's wife, then Sita's sister, Lanka's princess, Ahilya's awakening, Menaka's choice, and the Fisher Queen's dynasty. तो ये 6 किताबों के बारे में मुझे जानकारी है, और बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक्स हैं, इंटरेस्टिंग कैरेक्टर्स हैं. So this is what I know about the work of Kavita Kaneji. So now we shall be talking to her, but before that I would like to request Kavita ji to give a short introduction of herself so that our viewers can also...
I think you have introduced me beautifully. I mean, I don't think I have to say anything more. I think let's not...
Just in case I have missed out on anything, my apologies. आप अगर कुछ ऐड करना चाहें so that हमारे viewers जो हैं...
नहीं, और कुछ नहीं. बहुत.
Okay. Thank you so much. So ma'am, I'll be moving on with the questions. So basically सबसे पहले मैं ये आपसे जानना चाह रहा था कि आप जर्नलिज्म के फील्ड में थी, you were associated with the electronic and maybe the print media, and suddenly you know मैंने भी जर्नलिज्म किया है, मेरा भी वो बैकग्राउंड है, though I was not working for any media house, but you know suddenly quitting the job after 20 years of working and then switching over to a career like book writing, like अचानक जो है ये दिमाग में ख्याल आना कि ओके ना अब मुझे किताब लिखनी है. तो I mean, how did this you know strike this idea of writing?
अचानक तो नहीं हुआ. It was sort of in my mind. लेकिन I remember the day I actually started writing. It was, I think, the decision, yes, the actual writing वो बहुत अचानक ही था, क्योंकि Feb, it was Valentine's Day. So for 14 Feb को था, and I remember I said, okay, you know, every journalist wants to write a book and he hopes to write a book. So I think it was at the back of my mind. My mother used to tell me always that why don't you write a book? You know, you're written. So they used to be colleagues and friends. You know, so generally, yes. So I honestly I had never contemplated writing a book ever, but I did write. As I said, okay, let me just sit down and write. So it was. I was thinking about it, and then I said, so the actual decision was very achanak, as we say. And then I realized that once I started writing, I think it was just a flow. And I actually thought I'd write only one book. I never knew the fate of the book. I said, let me just write a book. It was a completely honest, spontaneous. I mean, technically, I must have been. I remember my publisher gave him some 1.5 lakh words, and he said, "नहीं बहुत है, you know, make it into 1 lakh words." Within a week, I gave it to them, so they were very surprised. They said, "How could you give it so fast?" I think, yeah, that's because we are journalists. We can cut down. You know, that whole emotional attachment to words. Fortunately, I don't have, so I could very drastically cut down from 1.5 lakhs to 1 lakh, and then I gave the final draft to them. And yes, I wrote the book. It was a surprise hit. sort of a thing. And I think that success, I think, the success of one book, obviously, then the second book follows. The publisher said, okay, how about it? Are you interested in writing the second book? So, of course. And that's the time I had to sort of really make a decision where do I want to continue with journalism? Because I've already 20 years old. Do I want to continue with this? Because honestly, I could not grapple with both. So even when I wrote, I think I had written the book between two jobs. In the sense I had, before I joined Times, I'd written the book. So, and by the time the book came out, I had sort of a choice: should I continue this or not? So yes, the decision was it was sort of Arya Par. I said, let me do Arya Par. So I said, yeah, okay, fine, because it is difficult doing the job and writing a book. I mean, that's what I was telling you yesterday. Was another interview where I think it's amazing when authors they are working through the day and then writing a book. I mean, and that's what most authors do. So I think they're absolutely remarkable. So remarkable thing to do. So the first book, second book was actually second book was on Urmila, which was my initial. That was the first actually story idea which I thought about, but I could not do it because I saw the information about her there, nothing about it. So I think for Karna's wife, I created a character called Urvi. So I think the success of that book and that character, I think, gave me the courage to sort of handle Urmila, because it was almost like it was just a name.
I'm sorry for interrupting you for a moment. There is sound, there is some disturbance going on. Is it at your end? Maybe.
I can't hear anything.
अच्छा नहीं, it is here. कुछ खटखट की आवाज हो रही है बीच में ना, तो आपके लीड से तो नहीं हो रहा है कहीं? I mean, अभी आप बोल रहे थे तो बीच में कुछ there was some disturbance going on. So
okay, can you hear now? Can you hear well? Is the disturbance still there?
No, it's not there now. It's okay now. It's okay now. It's okay now.
Anyways, so what was I saying? Yeah, I think what happened to Urmila was she was my favorite in the sense I really wanted to, but it was the first book I would have ideally liked to write about her, but I think the success of Urvi, basically character, she gave me the courage, because she gave me the courage to write on Urmila, because there was nothing about her besides the name, and that Valmiki's Ramayana, she sleeps for 14 years, so the whole thing was okay. Now I'll have to write a book completely. It's almost like writing fiction. The whole thing was almost fiction. So I had to sort of take off while doing research. I sort of took out stories, random stories, random folk threads, these sort of, and tried to assemble a whole, and then try to join the dots, and that's how Urmila came about. And I think this whole concept of people didn't know that she was Sita's sister. They didn't know that she was Lakshman. Many people didn't know she was Lakshman. So I think it all started from there, and then the book just developed. And I think that's how. I think after that there was 6 books. So I think from journalism, the transition was pretty smooth. But yes, I think what it really helped is that discipline, and secondly, this whole thing of editing as a technical skill. So I think that really helps us as writers.
So, ma'am, how then? This was about writing that, but then why mythology? This was because this is a subject. This is a typical subject. Normally it requires a lot of research and a lot of understanding. So, why did you opt to choose this? Why did you opt?
I think because I think the mythologies are very people sort of underestimate the genre completely. Because they think they are just fairy tales. They are stories of some. They are legends and fables and stories of their relics, and this whole concept of they sort of reduced it to myth and fairy tales. Mythology is not about that. Mythology is not about. I don't think it's at all about gods and goddesses. It's about man. It's about mankind, humans, humanity, and their problems. Whether it's his personal problem, whether it's his existential problem, whether it's his the socio-political problem, there's a psychological. So all these layers are there, and I think mythology as a genre deals with it beautifully. It weaves all these different aspects and makes it into a story, and that story has so much of it's timeless. The stories are timeless because the very fact that we are still talking about the Ramayana and the Mahabharata and the Purans and all the ancient texts is because of the certain timelessness, and the timelessness comes from the fact that they are talking about us. They're not talking about
Very
the
right.
Apsaras or the gods and goddesses. It's about man, his problems, his mistakes, his faults, and how he understands if he does, and the war within him, the war outside, and all about relationship. It's about father, son, mother, daughter. It also about. I mean, you think of any emotion and relationship in the world, and it's there in the text. So I think why not mythology? Mythology is a wonderful mixing of the old and the new, and it gives me the freedom as a writer to sort of instill a certain contemporary sensibility to the characters while I'm talking about a story which is thousands of years old. So it is like literally like a plain page or a canvas, where I can make a picture, I can color it to the color which I want. But the story is not mine, the characters are not mine. But yes, it gives me the freedom to color it how I want it. So I think it's a very democratic platform. So I think mythology, I love mythology. So, I mean, it's absolutely versatile. It's a literary technique. You can use it as a literary tool. You can use it as a metaphor. You can use it. I mean, they're all allegories. If you actually see, देखा जाए तो पुराने, why are these old stories so relevant today? They are not, and it's not didactic. There's nothing. They're not teaching you a moral lesson. Not at all. They are trying to teach you a very personal lesson. So that is why we relate, let's say, even with a Duryodhana or a Surpanaka or a Ravan, as closely as you would with a Ram and a Lakshmana and a Sita and a Kunti, anyone, because each character, because the shades of black and white and grey, they're so relevant. It's so relevant. You sort of experience them in your own life. They're there in your family. They're all around you. And these stories are just nuggets of the different nuggets of your own experiences. So I think mythology, yes, as I said earlier, it's democratic. It's completely, we need the complete freedom to. It's a very creative medium.
Thank you so much. Mythology, writing in mythology is democratic and liberating. That's a new thought. And चूंकि मैं भी लिखता हूँ तो मुझे भी जो है मैं भी I can also relate to this very much because मेरा भी area of writing यही है. मैम एक और चीज मैं आपसे
you must have experienced it yourself. आप जब लिखते हैं तो आपको ये
यस बिल्कुल बिल्कुल ऑफ कोर्स. मेरी जो किताबें हैं अश्वत्थामा और इंद्र, मैं भी इसी तरह के कैरेक्टर्स पे, एज यू नो, अश्वत्थामा इज आल्सो अ काइंड ऑफ माइनर कैरेक्टर. ही इज नॉट इट्स लीड कैरेक्टर ऑफ द स्टोरी. तो मेरा भी जो है उसी तरीके का एक्सपीरियंस है. तो बट फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ द व्यूअर्स आई जस्ट वांटेड टू हैव योर व्यूज. एंड मैम कमिंग बैक टू योर बुक्स, मैं एक चीज जो है आपके किताबों में देखते हैं, वो तीन मैंने आई हैव नोटिस्ड थ्री कॉमन things in your books. First is that all the books are on women. Second thing is that they are all, as I said, they are all minor characters. वो सब ऐसे characters हैं जो leads to बड़े epics से लिए हुए हैं. दोनों बड़े epics हैं. महाभारत और रामायण के characters हैं दोनों. और लेकिन दोनों ही epics में से आपने जो बड़े और major जो lead characters हैं उन्हें न लेकर you have chosen some minor characters, side characters, and you have built up the story. Then the third thing which I have noticed is about the title of your books. They all come with an apostrophe S. So this is something very unique and interesting. आप अगर इसके बारे में कुछ बताएं कि आपने कोई लीड कैरेक्टर जो है वो क्यों नहीं लिया, इसका क्या कारण है, तो अच्छा होगा.
I think I'll answer you literally backwards. The last question, okay. I'll say that why didn't I write about a lead character? Because I think that is exactly where we realize the mythology. I think mythology is a very wrong word, but whatever. When we're talking about a text and all, we always remember the male character. The only two female characters we remember are actually Sita and Draupadi. that shows the very strong male perspective which dominates these stories. We don't
जी
see the women are there. There are as many interesting and powerful women. They are really powerful and they're almost heroic. They are there, but we really don't register them at all. So I think this is so. I was really never interested in writing about Sita and Draupadi because I think lots have been written about them, and there is there's always a fresh perspective. But no, I think the smaller characters sort of intrigue me. Like I found Urmila more interesting than Sita because I think it was the life was a parallel, but it was so ironic. How life they are four sisters, and actually each of them once they marry into the family, four brothers, and, how everything is. They almost go through a similar experience. Each of them suffer separation in some form or the other,
yes
and how the four sisters deal with it. So I was interested in these smaller characters. So because minor characters, I believe, whether they are male or female, I think they are there for a reason. They're just not there to sort of, crowd the plot or something. They are there, and the reason being, they usually are trigger points of a plot. They are there. कुछ तो होता था. There's a dramatic, what do you say, incident or episode associated with most of them. So those become trigger points, and they sort of push the plot forward. So they are there for a reason. They might be minor, but they have a very major impact some time or the other in the narrative. So I think we sort of uh, again overlook minor characters because they have to be there if they are protagonists. There's a chief
yes
character, the minor character. Minor characters are sort of overlooked for a reason because they are not largely part of the main story. And but the thing was, for me, it was very interesting because once you see from his point of view, the perspective changes. And I think I was sort of experimenting with perspective. This whole thing was the importance of minor characters and perspective. Sort of they together, they come together almost to change the narrative. The plot, yes, but the narrative also. So I think that was the reason. And coming so I think this answers both your questions. And why women? Now, the third thing is why women? Women, of course, I think because again, as I said, uh, we see uh, we see mythology. We don't see mythology about women at all. Can you imagine a Mahabharata without a Kunti or a Gandhari or a Satyavati? Besides Draupadi, of course. But can you even imagine that? So we think immediately when we think of Mahabharata, we think of Arjuna, Karna, Duryodhana, Krishna, Bhishma. We think of all the male characters immediately. The only woman character you think of immediately, I'm saying, is Draupadi. So we are only sort of restricting the entire epic to one woman. And there are so many more interesting women there also, sort of almost non-existent, because of our ignorance. So I think it was just a question of unveiling them, sort of seeing them again, revisioning them, and sort of reintroducing them. So that's how, and I think women, because there is a certain, I believe that there is a certain, women are marginalized at every level of society, somehow or the other. And I think these women with their stories are showing us different aspects of that life they lead. Because you can't deny that there is sort of a patriarchal assumption. Many of the stories, when you see the versions, you see the original story and the later when it changes, they are changed because of this patriarchal assumption and assumption. And the biggest sufferers or the victims are the women themselves. So I think these women characters have been ignored, have been neglected, have been overlooked, and it was their way of. I said, okay, each one had, I think, had a story to tell, and I think I just wanted to tell the story. And I think coming to your last question was why the apostrophe is. Oh my god! I think that as a, that it started off because I wanted to keep a very simple character for my first book, title for my first book. So I remember one of one author. He said, "You are writing about that book, so why don't you write? Uh, just say Karna's wife because people assume Karna to be a bachelor. No one thinks, imagines he's a he's married, because you really don't see his married life at all, his personal life.
There is hardly anything given about his
Yeah.
wife.
So I think that title, he said no, the title is because I think that particular author also for him it was a sort of a novelty. He said, okay, he was married. So I think that reaction was there that, oh, Karna is married. So that title was very simple and it was Karna's wife. And then it got added up to its that Outcast Queen and all. It got expanded like a formula film. But anyways, then I think what happened was, I remember the success of Karna's wife. I remember the whole thing was, I thought people thought I would start a series, Arjun's wife and Bhim's wife. And I said, no, I will not do all this. So the apostrophe S became sort of a brand. So when I thought of Urmila, it was my first. This thing was Sita's sister. So and then I think it happened. Then Sita's sister. It was because I couldn't think of Urmila. Though it's very ironical, it's about Urmila, but again, it's sort of that whole identity, because it is a borrowed identity of these minor characters. They are not known for what they are. They are known to be as something. So that apostrophe S is also a little significant literally, because it shows not Urmila the full spotlight she deserves, but she's known as Sita's sister, Lakshman's wife, or Janak's daughter. That apostrophe S shows her shared identity. And it happens. So with Menka's choice, it was not. It was again Menka was completely sort of, and it was supposed to be an extremely ironical title. Does she really have a choice? You're talking about choices. So I think that apostrophe S almost became like a trademark. I think the publishers also liked this. So I think it just started, and now I realize I'm sort of burdened with it, because when I'm thinking of the book, the title, it really becomes, it's extremely limiting, it's extremely trying, it's extremely troublesome.
आपको इसके साथ ही apostrophe के साथ ही अगली सारी किताबें लिखनी पड़ेंगी.
हाँ, तो आपने क्या वो लंका की राजकुमारी, तो इसकी वही होने वाला है. I think which is the other one. I think Sita's sister की सीता की बहन जो की होगा. I think just like my apostrophe I say. So I think की और काज का definitely is going to be there.
जी. But they are really interesting characters and also interesting titles. And it is very definite to to catch the attention of the readers. तो और ऐसा ही हुआ भी है. All your books are best selling books. बहुत अच्छी बात है ये. अच्छा मैम, दूसरा ये कि हम लोग as you know we are talking about women in literature, and this entire discussion is it revolves around women, not just the characters of the women, but the portrayal of women, the way you have portrayed women in your books, especially if we talk about the characters of Ahilya or Shurpanakha, because I have done that book, and maybe Menka also. So the way you have portrayed women in your books, especially so, and there's this discussion going on about women liberation, women emancipation. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि ये जो जिस नारी पात्रों को, विमेन कैरेक्टर्स को आपने अपनी किताब में पोर्ट्रे किया है, दिखाया है, दर्शाया है, तो विमेन इमेंसिपेशन या लिबरेशन को लेकर या ये फेमिनिज्म को लेकर पूरी चर्चा और डिस्कशन चलता रहता है, तो इसके कंटेक्स्ट में आप वो पूरे को कैसे देखती हैं, इस पूरे हाउ डू यू लुक एट इट? आई मीन व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन दिस?
This is being always asked because I write about women. But I think what I really consider is the centrality of the female characters of the story. As I said earlier, there is a certain, when we're talking about, there is a certain patriarchal domination, which is there. And we're sort of, it's not only about feminism. Here we're talking about a certain individualism we should see the women characters with. They are, you have to see them not just, you have to see them as women, you have to see them as individuals, and by doing that we're not just challenging old stereotypes. If you see the original characters, they are very strong themselves, so we are not making them strong.
आवाज वो that sound वो स्ट्राइक कर रही कोई चीज शायद.
It is still happening.
हाँ कुछ It is, it was not there in between, but अभी फिर से आ रही है वो आवाज. अभी आप बोलेंगे तो पता चलेगा.
अच्छा, ओके. Can you still hear?
जैसे कोई चीज टकराती है ना, कुछ ऐसे खटखट की आवाज आ रही है.
It's just,
I don't know if something is striking against the table or something.
I can't hear it. I only hope there's nothing wrong with the speakers or something.
Okay, maybe.
Or rather the headphones. So, can you hear me well? Can you hear
No,
me
I
now?
can. Yes, you are very much audible, but there is some, some. Now
Okay.
it's something strikes,
I think
something strikes in between.
it's a sort of a crackling sound.
Yes.
No, I can't hear it because I'm not getting it. So I
हाँ,
don't realize it. I'm not getting it. So I don't.
Okay. Maybe it's with the microphone or something. I don't know. Anyways, you please carry on.
The thing. So there's a certain male perspective dominating the story. So when we're talking about women in literature, I think as I said, we are not challenging old stereotypes here, because I think originally most of these women were strong. They became a victim of patriarchy sometime or the other through the versions. When you see the different versions, I'll give you two examples. One is Ahilya herself. The Valmiki's Ahilya is a much more so definitely a woman of conviction than the victim which we see, because by the end of it, the different versions of India, so she almost becomes a victim. All even like in one of the versions, there's that Indra raped her. No, it is not. When Valmiki's in Valmiki's Ahilya definitely knows what she is doing, and she goes ahead with it. So there you have shown a woman who does definitely decides, who is confident at that particular time, and then she goes ahead with her decision, and she has the courage to suffer the consequences. That is the strength of Ahilya. We sort of just shift her from being a devoted wife, suddenly she becomes a victim, and then again we sort of deify her. This whole extremes which you go with Ahilya. So originally Ahilya is not like that. Same thing, let's say about Shakuntala. The story which we know about Shakuntala is usually the Kalidasi version. That she fell in love with Dushyant, she met Dushyant, and they got married, and then he forgot about her, and then he found her in. No, in the original Mahabharata, it's not that. The story is about a girl. Yes, she falls in love with him. They marry, have a Gandharva marriage. She waits for him. He doesn't come back to her, and she realizes that he's not going to come back to her. He is carrying his child. She goes ahead with it, and she is literally the first single mother, if you can say. And she brings up the child in the forest. She is literally herself the child of the forest, completely without, not uh, bound by laws made by man or by society. And she is the daughter of the jungle. And she brings up her child accordingly. And when her son is 12 years old, 10 or 12, he sort of asks her who my father is. And that is the time she takes him to Hastinapur and she introduces him to Dushyant. So this is the story. So that Shakuntala is so different from Kalidasa Shakuntala. Or what Ahilya, which we know, Valmiki, is so different from the virgins later. So here itself, these are two just case in point where cases where we are talking about how the original characters got twisted to their subaltern status. So here, when you're talking about, you mentioned feminism and all, the social attitude has revamped. Definitely, especially the social attitude has revamped, and there is a new paradigm. There is a new paradigm of women's consciousness, of women's definition. So it is there is a definite the archetypes changed the definitions too. You think about, as I said, you talk about Draupadi and we talk about Sita. Both are again extreme. Both have been, there's a sort of a uh, uh, we sort of see them in a particular light. But the other women, even Draupadi and Sita, if you actually see, we sort of reduce them to stereotypes, which they are not supposed to be. And I think that is what, when we're talking about women in literature, I think that's what authors are trying to say. Why are we writing so many books on Sita and the Draupadi? Because their stories, different facets of the story have not been told. And that is being reviewed. So there is a rise of individualism, and there is a consequent social reorientation, of social political reorientation, because the attitudes are same. You can't compare the social mores of those times with now. But what I, actually when I'm doing my research, I actually find most of these women are originally very extremely fiery, extremely strong, extremely courageous, given the situation they are in, and each one has this whole ability to fight back the situation they're sort of trapped in, or handed down to them. So I think when we're talking about these women, we're just, I think literally we're trying to unearth them, trying to uncover, try to remove the. There's a certain myopic way of seeing them. There is a certain prejudice. There is a certain discrimination when you see these characters, and there's a lot of judgment again. So I think all this has to be removed. So I think that removal part, that happens because these stories have been told. Why are they versions of it? They have been told with a different perspective. So when we are again telling the story, we are in our own way trying to demythify this character again. We are trying to deconstruct this character again, the women character again. So you see them in the light which they are. What they actually encompass, what they actually define, what they actually symbolize. And I think each one is symbolizing a certain aspect of feminism.
तो आपकी बात से मैम मैं जो समझा वो ये कि ओवर द इयर्स जो इंटरप्रेटे मतलब पेट्रियार्कल सिस्टम की वजह से देयर हैज बीन अ डिस्टॉर्शन इन द प्रेजेंटेशन एंड यू फील maybe what this is the impression that I have got कि अगर वेद व्यास या मे बी वाल्मीकि की जगह अगर कोई महिला होती, कोई स्त्री होती जिन्होंने इन एपिक्स को लिखा होता,
तो that again I agree. That again I agree, but what I'm trying to say, let's not be have a hypothetical. I'm not saying the story written by women. What I'm trying to say, even a Vyas and a Valmiki wrote. I mean, characters like Satyavati and Devyani, and I mean, if you see Vyas's ones and see the difference in them and how society sort of see that the change, how it comes to a Kunti and Gandhari, and then it happens eventually to a Subhadra and Draupadi. So you see the social change. What I'm trying to say, even the author, even Vyas and Valmiki realize their character, their women character themselves are very strong. Here I'm trying to say how we have sort of through so many centuries and patriarchal, a certain patriarchy, SSLR patriarchal assumption, we have distorted the story. So I think the original stories are very good. They are extremely, yes. I mean, they are telling the story as they are. We have distorted them. So I think I will not say if a woman would have written the story. No, if we have not even seen, we have not even sort of registered the story through women's side. I think Valmiki and Vyas tell the story so beautifully about each woman. But somehow the other, they got straight-jacketed into, they completely became victims of patriarchy. The characters themselves became, the stories became, the story was supposed to tell something, became something else. Starting from the protagonist, whether it's Draupadi or Sita, we see the way, myopic way we see both these characters. So very, very, we miss out on the complete richness, the depth of these characters and the story.
So I think, ma'am, that was very beautifully replied. And I think what you want to say is like the stories are already there, but we just need to read between the lines and see the real picture inside, so that the real story that comes out. And it is not, we just don't get carried away by whatever is being told. So ये बहुत ही अच्छी बात है. मैं आपको एक और चीज मैं पूछना चाह रहा था आपसे, वो ये कि when we talk about mythology, so this word is often misinterpreted as myth. इसे झूठ से या कल्पना से, maybe something has been cooked up. तो ये ऐसे इसको समझा जाता है. There is another word which is इतिहास, that we call history. उसे लोग सच मानते हैं, और mythology को कई बार, not everyone, but there is a general perception about these stories that they are cooked up, or they maybe we don't know whether this actually happened or not. So do you see some at some point of time, do you see the two, the merging at a common point, or do you find some intersection of mythology?
Yes, yes, because both the word, I think there is definitely a lot of discrepancy between these two definitions. I believe that they are epics. I always see them as epics, and they are literary long poems. I mean, the beauty of and they are telling us beautiful stories, rich, deep, with extremely heavy in philosophical content. So I think sort of getting stuck in this controversy about calling it mythology and I mean, I find it extremely. I have to find it pointless. I mean, see the beauty of the story and not what it.
Mhm.
I mean, we are missing out on the point completely. I think. So, for me, when I'm doing my research, I love the story. It's like it's like one story is interwoven into the other. It goes on. It's like a beautiful shawl. It's a beautiful fabric. So, I think we have that beautiful fabric, and I think let's not break it. By giving some.
Okay.
No, these are all unnecessary controversies. I think so. Because
Yes.
the fact remains that these stories are thousands of years old. Uh, and the fact that they are so relevant today. See, I don't know, which book can you think of which is still a success now? I mean, you're
Yes.
talking about best-selling books. I think Ramayana and Mahabharata are the biggest best-selling books.
Yes. 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 Of all
Yes, I
times. Yes.
mean they are. I mean they are
Yes.
so
Within that system.
they are
Yes. Yes.
timeless. So I think their strength, the beauty, everything lies in their timelessness. So let's not
Exactly.
get into these. These are just
Ma'am,
there are better things to talk about.
we're talking about you just said about research. So since I am also into this area, I would like to know what आप जब ये इस issue पे लिखते हैं इन topics पे लिखते हैं तो what kind of research is involved and what is the process of going about this, finding characters, how do you select the characters, and how do you build up the story, and what is the research material of your
The research
backup?
is, I think, research goes on and it's almost endless in the sense it's continuous rather more than endless. It's continuous. So much so that I have to sort of say, okay, now let me stop reading and let me start writing. That sort of thing. But at the end of it, I realize I've got so much of information and then that I have to sort of sieve it. So when I'm
Mhm.
sieving it, because they're minor characters, there's actually nothing about them at all. There's nothing about them. So I sort of take base my characters on the bigger character. Let's say Satyavati was essentially based on Vishnu. Menka was on Vishwamitra. So I try to draw the character through the bigger characters, and the events which revolve around that, around Menka, let's say Menka or Suparnaka or Satyavati or Ahilya. So um, that is how I develop my story because I cannot because there is not much matter. I mean, as I said, Urmila, there's a 3-line mention and then she sleeps for 14 years.
Yes.
With Menka again, it's just mentioned that okay, she seduced Vishwamitra, and then she had a child from him, and then she went back. But while doing the research, I realized it was a 10-year relationship, and if she was responsible for destroying the man she loved, she was also responsible for resurrecting him. He became Vishwamitra because of Menka. So it's sort of so this sort of thing we really don't see Menka as a mother who abandoned 2 daughters. We don't see her as a wife. We only see her as this seductress. So that again, as I said earlier, we sort of straitjacket them into stereotypes, into a sort of a myopic way of looking at characters. So I think she just becomes, she's an apsara, she's beautiful, she's a seductress. Bas, wahi hai. So I think the story of Vishwamitra and Menka has a huge impact later. I mean, they were actually the origin, the entire Bharat race was because of them, one line of it. So I think this sort of character building development is essentially uh, through the bigger characters, bigger events, sort of, and then see they are random episodes, and then I try to join the dots. Like example, I think I was with your Satyavati. I think there is so much of allegory and metaphors in her story. Sort of demythifying those stories, sort of deconstructing those stories, making them into stories, simple stories for people to understand. Because uh, because there are certain characters, especially I think it happens with Apsara, there is a lot of allegories associated with it. There are a lot of connected stories. This whole thing of Lakshara turning into a fish. what does it mean to turn into a sage? So all this has to be explained, and that becomes part of the plot. That becomes a part of the narrative, which is so important because that is how the layers are sort of peeled away. To make them more accessible, to make them easier to understand. Because again, Satyavati, we don't even realize her importance because she and Bhishma were actually their decisions, their choices, whatever happened around them, they were responsible for the Kurukshetra. They were the origins of it. We don't see that. So I think what is Bhishma without Satyavati and what is Satyavati without Bhishma? These two are extremely uh, two very very strong, important characters. But we see Bhishma, we don't see Satyavati. We don't. Though she's there for a very long time. If you see her span, chronologically she's there for a very long time, but her impact is not seen. So I think these sort of the character development is then I think, and when I'm doing research, what really helps me and sort of embellishes the story is the folk story. If you see, the folk stories are very colorful, very very not only interesting. They just sort of humanize the character. Sort of shorn out of the divinity, shorn out of. They are like everyday, ordinary people. The beauty of folklore is. So I think these folk threads are very, very important for me. I think even in Surpanaka, I use one of them. So I think that's how I've then that's how the whole thing is interweaved to become a whole. So this folk story is a little taking things from the big character episodes, and of course my part of fiction. But that fiction has to be again very believable, relatable fiction because I have to create a character which is very convincing and sticking to the original. I don't want to make a totally bizarre character where people don't recognize her. So I think so. That's why research is very it's continuous. You have to keep on reading.
तो मैम आपने ये कहा कि जो इस तरह के जो छोटे पात्र हैं, जो माइनर कैरेक्टर्स हैं, दे बेसिकली आप ये कह सकते हैं कि ये बड़े जो मुख्य पात्र हैं, जो मेन कैरेक्टर्स हैं, उनका हाथ पकड़ के और जो नैरेटिव स्टोरीज है, इंसिडेंट्स हैं मेन स्टोरी के, उनका हाथ पकड़ के ही आगे चलते हैं और इन्हीं के सहारे इनको डेवलप किया जाता है. एंड ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज एन एलिमेंट ऑफ इमेजिनेशन एंड सम काइंड ऑफ क्रिएटिविटी इन्वॉल्व्ड. तो इस तरीके से माइनर कैरेक्टर्स को जो है बिल्डअप किया जाता है. तो मैम आप जो है करंट ऑथर्स में आप किसको पढ़ती हैं और आपका फेवरेट ऑथर कौन है?
No, I will not get into this at all. I will not. Because
my book and take my pick.
I think I'll play it safe. I'll just go back to my old author. Honestly, I will not mention the new author. No, I'm not going to mention anyone. Even the old author. I think it's a very bad stagnant habit of mine that I love going back to my old author. So,
we just want to know who are the authors we normally you admire or maybe you like.
No, I admire everyone. Like that's a question you ask because very often asked to us. Who's your favorite author or who's your favorite book? But especially when I'm a writer now, I realize it's here I'm talking about completely like a reader. When we are talking about a favorite author or a book, I think each of them impacts me in a certain way. I cannot say author A impacted me. It's a favorite author as such. No. But I might be having 5 favorite authors. It's like, and it also depends on what age you read. It happens. Very simple thing. I realized it when I read when my daughters were reading Little Women. I read it again, and that time I realized I was not really we think about Jo March, that character. But no, I was more interested in Mrs. March. So I realized the perspective again changes when you read books at a different time, different pace. So all this really these are also factors about defining a book. So I will not say it is again all encompassing. A book is always influences you all through your life. It is not just a solitary experience and you read the book, shut it, and you switch it off. No, it happens unconsciously. It has influenced you. That author has influenced you. So I don't think. Only it's a bad book. Bad book, of course. It's a bad author. 5 pages down, okay, I just shut the book and I won't even say it's a bad book. I'll just say it doesn't interest me. Who am I to sit on the judgment and say it's a good book or a bad book? But okay, I have not. It's like any other piece of work, a piece of art. Whether it's a movie or painting. You like it or you don't like it.
Okay, thank you. And out of these 6 characters that you have written books, all your books are focused on, which one is your favorite character, which you have
This
enjoyed
favorite
writing?
word, this favorite word, so it's like
Favorite
completely.
आपकी अपनी बुक से पूछ
Favorite, I'll tell you why. There's no favorite, honestly, because Urvi was favorite because A, she's the first character. And secondly, I think she gave me the complete, because she is a completely fictitious character. So
Yes,
she gave
yes.
me full creative freedom. I could sort of mold her the way I wanted her to. So,
हाँ,
that whole abandon which I sort of
yes.
wrote about her and of her, I think Urvi. But Urmila, there is certain corner because these characters also help me as an author. It was also my journey of self-discovery, my journey as an author, as a writer. So I think each one has I have a soft corner for each of them. Like Surpanaka's story, I enjoyed writing that book because it was the first time I was writing about a negative character, an antagonist, and placing myself in her shoes and completely thinking like her was, of course, emotionally draining. It's sort of draining also,
Yes, yes.
but I
Yes.
enjoyed it. You're trying to rationalize, you're trying to identify feelings which you otherwise would not think of, or experience, or have not gone through at all. So I think each one, there's some complicated there. You like them because they're complicated. Ahilya was, yes, one of the difficult characters. The present one which I'm writing on. I love writing
Okay.
about her.
Okay.
So I think
Uh,
I will not say that. It's like asking which is your favorite kid. I've got 6 kids right now, but I think
oh,
each one has their own place.
okay. Agree with that. And since you have already told कि आप मेल कैरेक्टर्स पर लिखने का आपका कोई अभी फिलहाल इरादा नहीं है. You'll be writing more on female
No,
characters.
let me exhaust the women's list. No.
Yes, yes, yes. So, who's the next on your list with an
The
apostrophe S?
next character. The 7th book you're talking about. This is the first time I'm writing about a goddess. So she's
Okay.
so I will not mention which goddess. So since it's Dasera,
Yeah.
let me say
And
yes.
it's going to be with an apostrophe S, I'm sure.
Yes, of course. And
Okay,
I've thought of
thank
the
you.
title. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
great. That's great.
yeah,
Um,
yes,
आपकी
yes.
लंका's प्रिंसेस का मैंने अनुवाद किया हिंदी में, मुझे बहुत मजा आया. और and I would love to, मैंने आपकी बाकी, since I'm into this field, so I know most of the stories, but still I would love to read all your books. और अगर मुझे मौका मिला तो मैं बाकियों का भी अनुवाद
I
करना
hope you
चाहूंगा.
translate all my books.
Some of them have already been translated. If I get a
Yes,
chance, I will let it go.
I think Sita Sister should be out soon.
Okay. Okay.
Bhinka Ray or who else? Ahilya. I think
जी
these
जी
are
जी.
the only 2 books.
So, ma'am, with this, we are just coming towards the.
No, now I'll ask
Uh,
you a question. I'll
oh,
ask
okay,
you a
sure.
question.
Please go
Uh,
ahead. Please.
no, since you have translated my book, let me know how do you go about it? How did you go about it? I mean, I have a very, very huge admiration for translators because they have to
Oh,
know they have to be an expert in 2 languages. It's like,
yes, yes,
and that translation has to be seamless. You should not feel like a translation. That entire, in fact, many times I think I personally believe that when you translate it into a regional language, I think the book should become more powerful because you can identify. Imagine a Bhishma or a Satyavati speaking in English, and Bhishma and Satyavati or a Ravana or a Surpanaka speaking in English. And when they speak in
yes.
Hindi or Marathi or Tamil, they carry more weightage. There's a certain sense of immediacy you have with this character. So I think regional language, writing in a regional language is definitely it's more powerful than writing in English. So I think you have that advantage. So
Uh,
what did you actually experience
Ma'am,
while writing,
yeah,
translating
yeah,
that
nahi.
particular?
Actually, you can say that I have a little advantage because I'm well conversant with both the languages. I write in
Hmm.
English as well as in Hindi. So एक तो ये लैंग्वेज का एडवांटेज होता है कि आपके पास यू आर फेमिलियर विद द वोकैबुलरी, द वर्ड, द एक्सप्रेशंस, idiomatic usages are sometimes very confusing, and translators do make a mistake in that. Then a very important aspect is knowing the background of the book. जो किताब का जो there is a whenever a book is translated, the cultural and the the environment it is written, वो सारा background अगर आपके पास है तो you have a great advantage. और fortunately I come from a family जहाँ पर there's a lot of reading of books on mythology, and मैं भी बाकी लोगों की तरह इन्हीं दो ग्रंथों के साथ महाभारत और रामायण के साथ मैं बड़ा हुआ, और मैंने इनकी लगभग सभी कहानियां मुझे याद हैं, पढ़ी हुई हैं मैंने। तो इसलिए मुझे बहुत एडवांटेज था। समटाइम्स व्हेन यू आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ द स्टोरी, तो you tend to get confused, or maybe you are likely to make mistakes in the translation. तो ये मुझे एडवांटेज रहा। और मैंने मुझे पता नहीं आपने मेरी कितनी किताबें देखी हैं, लेकिन मैंने माइथोलॉजी पे मैंने बहुत सारी किताबों का मैंने ट्रांसलेशन किया है। आई हैव ट्रांसलेटेड चित्रा बनर्जी जी की मैंने दोनों किताबें, पैलेस ऑफ इल्यूजन्स और फॉरेस्ट ऑफ एन्चैंटमेंट भी ट्रांसलेट की। मैंने अशोक बैंकर जी की 10 किंग्स नाम से बुक है, दशराजन, वो भी, उसका भी मैंने अनुवाद किया। आपकी किताब है। उसके अलावा अनुजा चंद्रमौली जी की एक किताब है अर्जुन, वो भी मैंने उसका भी अनुवाद किया। मैं अपनी भी किताबें लिखता हूँ। तो familiarity with the subject is very important. That is what I feel, because you can learn the language, you can know the language, today you have technology, you can use internet, you have dictionaries, so many sources you have to gather the information. And conversion of language is not an issue, but to understand the soul, what you are trying to say, what the author is trying to say, get to know the real character. Unless you are able to do that, you are not able to do justice with the book. तो इसलिए वो मुझे एडवांटेज रहता है। और मुझे इसमें सिंस माइथोलॉजी आई लव रीडिंग दिस बुक्स, और इसीलिए अब नाउ आई हैव फोकस्ड and I have kept my, like you have concentrated yourself towards writing on female characters. तो मैंने भी कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि मैं I would not like to digress myself and write about other subjects. मैं अभी इंडियन मिथोलॉजी पर ही लिखना चाहता हूँ। और ये मेरे पास 2-3 किताबें हैं, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ। ये मेरी एक किताब है अश्वत्थामा, और इसका इंग्लिश वर्जन भी, मैं अपनी किताबों का, मुझे वैसे मैं करना नहीं चाहता, लेकिन मुझे कई बार कहा जाता है कि आप अपनी किताबों का अनुवाद कीजिए। तो आई हैव ट्रांसलेटेड दिस इनटू इंग्लिश आल्सो, एंड दिस इज अनदर बुक, दिस इज ऑन इंद्र. So this is both the books have done well, they have been admired a lot by readers. इंद्र का ये एक इंग्लिश वर्जन भी जो है वो अवेलेबल है। तो मंजुल पब्लिशिंग के साथ मैंने काम किया, एंड आई हैव डन लॉट ऑफ बुक्स विद देम। तो ये मेरा एरिया ऑफ वर्किंग है। इसीलिए मुझे आपने जैसा मेरे से पूछा तो कि कैसे मैं इस चीज को करता हूँ, तो एक आप कह सकते हैं एक इंट्यूटिव नैक होता है, देयर इज अ नैक which is there with you. These things are not translation के आपको courses भी मिल जाएंगे, लोग, there are professional courses which people do, but I don't find कि translation is a skill which can be learned just with the help of a course. There is something more that it takes.
Yeah, because you're just not translating words, you're translating a whole world.
Yes.
Emotions and experiences.
Because when I translated your book, especially Lanka's Princess, if I to be specific, so I have to understand the character of Shurpanakha. Unless I do that, her own character, along with her relationships and her the way she gets along with other characters of the book, जब तक वो इक्वेशन पूरी जो है, पूरा वो पर्सपेक्टिव मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा, अगर वो मुझे पता नहीं है, तो आई विल डेफिनेटली फॉल्टर समवेयर, कहीं ना कहीं मुझसे गड़बड़ जरूर होगी। तो ट्रांसलेशन में वो सीमलेस जो आप ट्रांसलेशन की अभी बात कर रहे थे, वो नहीं आ पाएगा। तो इट इज नॉट जस्ट अबाउट नोइंग द लैंग्वेज पर से, बट you need to know the entire background, and you also got to have the interest to do that book. that also counts if you are interested, because I get so many other books to translate, but somehow the kind of interest जो मुझे इसमें जो मजा आता है मिथोलॉजी की बुक्स को ट्रांसलेट करने में या लिखने में, वो मुझे और किसी किताब में नहीं आता। तो एक मैं अपना एक हिंदू नवभारत टाइम्स एक न्यूज़पेपर है, आप जानते हैं हिंदी का, तो मैं उसमें भी एवरी सैटरडे आई राइट अ कॉलम इन दैट आल्सो, दैट इज आल्सो ऑन मिथोलॉजी, हिंदी में लिखता हूँ मैं। तो ये है, इस तरीके की बात है, तो अच्छा लगता है मुझे ये काम करना। तो दिस इज वेरी इंस्पायरिंग एंड यू नो आई फील चार्ज एंड आई फील when I translate books, when I write about mythology, read about these books, so I feel charged and you know it keeps me fresh. So that's about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for translating my book.
It was my pleasure. And जब भी कभी मौका मिलेगा तो मैं आपकी किताब जरूर ट्रांसलेट करूंगा अगर मुझे कहा जाएगा। जैसे आपके साथ आज बात हुई,
और दो है, आप बोला बताया तो था कि इनका चॉइस और अहिल्या दर्शनी स्टोरी।
फॉर्चुनेटली मैं जो भी किताब ट्रांसलेट करता हूँ वो पसंद की जाती है, उसका अनुवाद अच्छा होता है और वो पसंद की जाती है। चित्रा बनर्जी की जो किताब है पैलेस ऑफ इल्यूजन्स, उसका मैंने अनुवाद किया था। द्रौपदी की महाभारत काफी समय हो गया उसको, बट स्टिल इट इज यू नो इट इज लाइक्ड अ लॉट बाय पीपल, तो बहुत पसंद की जाती है वो आज भी। तो अच्छा अनुवाद अगर होता है तो हिंदी भाषी वालों को
it becomes a standalone book.
Yes. No doubt about that. And I'm thankful to God, thankful to the Almighty, my parents who have given me enough guidance and enough wisdom to do all these things. By the grace of God, मैं ये सब पाता हूँ। जॉब भी करता हूँ थोड़ा, तो टाइम भी कम मिलता है, बट स्टिल आई मैनेज। तो और आपकी गाइडेंस और आप जैसे अच्छे ऑथर्स को पढ़ता रहता हूँ, तो नई नई चीजें मुझे जानने को मिलती रहती हैं। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you very much.
So with that, कविता जी, we are coming to the end of the session, and I hope मुझे उम्मीद है कि ये चर्चा आपको अच्छी लगी होगी, आपको भी आनंद आया होगा। और
yeah, definitely I hope the audience will enjoy it. And
yes, of course.
Let me know. I definitely please give me a feedback on my books, this particular event, whatever, and there on social media. So do let me know, and thank you very much. Again, a happy Dasera, happy reading. And
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Manish Dhariwal ji and Mark My Book and Kalamkari Forum for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. It was a pleasure having you with us, and thank you for sparing your time. Thank you so much, and I am very happy Dashera to you.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you so much.